financial records and periodic reports to the board and submit a complete annual report in written form to the councils as required by Article 7, Section 1 of this ordinance. Meetings of the board shall be held at regular intervals as presided in the bylaws. Emergency meetings may be held open 24 hours actual notice and business transacted, provided that not less than a majority of the full board concerns occurs in the proposed action.
All the votes in? Time ran out, sorry, Mary.
Okay, first one is Juanita Oros. Second one's Juanita Oros. Next one is Juanita. Next one is Cody Hayok. Next we have Juanita. Next one is Juanita. Next one here is Cody Hayok. Next we have Juanita Oros. Next is Cody Hayok. Next one is Cody Hayok. The final one, Cody Hayok. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Juanita. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Cody.
Motion to approve Juanita Oros for the District 1 Housing Authority Board position, pending background check.
Okay, we got a motion by Ms. Lee, second by Mr. Moran, and motions to approve Juanita Oros for the open position District 1, pending the background check. Comments or discussion? Madam Secretary, whenever you're ready.
Bryce Indowitz, absent. Steve Moran,
Yes.
Chen I Jr., John Kessler,
Yes.
Kenrick Dupreez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller, Kelsey Haskell,
Yes.
Thad Rose,
Yes.
Derek Bartlett, absent Francine Hall,
Yes.
Joe Brinkspuni, Bob Walters, Ronald Russo, absent Tuffy Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, 12 yes, 0 no's, 0 abstain, 3 absent, motion carries. Madam Secretary.
Chairman, is the live stream working now?
Okay, thank you, council. The next one I have is the District 2 Cheyenne River Housing Authority Board. And this is pending background also, and we got one position and we have 2 applicants. The applicants is Dolly Jo Knife and Clara LeBeau. District 2 Housing Authority Board of Directors. 2 applicants, Dolly Jo Knife and Clara LeBeau.
Chairman, I'm gonna abstain from this. I'll step out for a bit.
We're gonna tell Dolly.
Tell her next week.
Is this all the votes? So we'll get started here. First one is Dolly. Second one is Clara LB. Next one is Dolly Joe K. Next one is Clara LeBeau. Next one is Dolly Joe Knife. Next one is Dolly Joe. Next one is Clara LeBeau. Next we have Clara LeBeau. Next is Dolly Joe Knife. Next is Clara LeBeau. The final one here is Dolly Joe or Dolly Knife. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 Dolly Joe and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Clara LeBeau. Council? Any action?
Motion to approve, Dolly.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion to approve Dolly Joe Knife by Councilman Kessler, second by Councilman Haskell, pending the background check. Okay, any other comments or questions? That was a close one. Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryson Woods, absent. Steve Moran,
Yes.
Ken Knight Jr. Is he abstain or? He's out. Absent. John Kessler,
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller, Kelsey Haskell,
Yes.
Thad Rose,
Yes.
Derek Bartlett, absent. Francine Garrow.
Yes.
Excuse me, sorry. They
Yes.
have Francine Garrow right next to your name in Hall, so I'm Francine Hall.
Yes.
Thank you. Joe Brings Plenty, Bob Walters, Ronald Russo, absent. Tuffy Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Eleven yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 4 absent. Motion carries. Thank you, Council. Madam Secretary, please continue.
Thank you, Council. Next on, we have is the District 3 Cheyenne River Housing Authority Board. One position, we have 2 applicants, LeVay Hayok Red Horse and Nina Fiddler.
Excuse me, what was that district, which district?
District 3, again, this is for District 3 Cheyenne River Housing Authority Board of Directors. 2 applicants, LeVay Hayok Red Horse and Nina Fiddler.
Okay, we got all the votes in for the Housing Authority Board of Directors, District 3, LeVay, Hayok, Red Horse, and Nina Fiddler. Only 2 applicants. So we should have 12 votes. Okay, first one is LeVay, Hayok, Red Horse. Second one's LeVay, Red Horse. Next one is Nina. Next one is Nina Fiddler. Next we have Nina Fiddler. Next one's LeVay, Red Horse. Next we have Nina. Next one is Nina F. This next one says Nina Fiddler. We got Nina Fiddler, Nina Fiddler, and the last one is Nina Fiddler. So there's for Nina, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then
Motion to approve Nina Fiddler for District 3 Housing Authority Board.
Second.
Pending background check.
okay, we got a motion by Ms. Lee, second by Ms. Haskell for Nina Fiddler, pending the background check. Madam Secretary, whenever you're ready.
Bryce Sindowitz, absent. Steve Moran,
Yes.
Ted Ike Junior,
Yes.
John Kessler,
Yes.
Henrik Dupree, Karen Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller, yes. Kelsey Haskell,
Yes.
Matt Rose,
Yes.
Eric Bartlett, absent. Francine Hall,
Yes.
Joe Rigsby, Bob Walter, Ronald Russo, absent. Tucky Thompson.
Yes. Okay, we got 12 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 3 absent, motion carries. Thank you, Tribal Council. Madam Secretary.
Thank you, council. The next one I have is for District 3, Telephone Authority Board of Directors. 1 position, I got 2 applicants, LeVay Hayok, Red Horse, and Dolores Curley. District 3, Telephone Authority Board. LeVay Hayok, Red Horse, and Dolores Curley. Again, District 3, Telephone Authority Board of Directors, LeVay Hayok, Red Horse, and Dolores Curley.
Okay, you should have all the votes in for the Cheyenne River Telephone Authority Board of Directors, District 3 applicants. This one's LeVay Hayek, Red Horse, and Dolores Curley. We'll start with the count. Then we'll canvass the votes. First one's LeVay Red Horse. Next one is LeVay Hayek Red Horse. Next one is LeVay Hayek Red Horse. Next one is Dolores Curley. Okay, next we have LeVay Hayek. Next one's Hayek. We have LeVay Hayek Red Horse. Next one says Dolores. Next one says Dolores C. Next one is LeVay. Next one says Dolores. Next one is LeVay Hayek. And last one is Dolores C. So for Dolores, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 votes. For LeVay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Council? Got a motion to approve LeVay Hayek pending background check by Ms. Haskell.
Second.
Second by Ms. Lee. Comments or questions?
Mrs. Hall.
Oh, Ms. Hall. Second by Ms. Hall, sorry. We'll call for the vote, Madam Secretary.
Bryce Cinderwoods. Absent Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr.
Yes.
John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez.
Yes.
Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller. Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall.
Yes.
Joe Brinkspinney. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Absent Tuffy Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we got 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent, motion carries. Thank you, Tribal Council. Well, Madam Secretary, you can move on to your next one.
Okay, council, thank you. Next one I have is the District 4 Housing Authority Board of Directors. We advertised it, we got no applicants. However, that following Monday, on July 31st, so a month later, we got an application for this position. It's a late one. The closing date was June 30th. Wishes the council.
Madam Secretary? Could you let us know who the applicant, the one applicant was?
Jim Pearman.
Okay, I spoke with Mr. Pearman, and he was in the hospital for a couple weeks, so he missed the deadline to apply for the board. If we advertise it another 30 days, he may be the only one that applies again. So I'm going to make a motion to approve Jim Pearman for the District 4 Housing Authority Board.
Second.
Got a motion by Ms. Lee, a second by Ms. Miller. Questions on the motion?
Chairman,
Mr. Bartlett, go ahead.
what's this position for?
The Cheyenne River Housing Authority Board of Directors for District 4.
And all the positions are filled right now, but for?
District 4 needs to be filled. We
Yep.
had it advertised, no one applied. However, Mr. Pearman turned his in, and as Council Representative Lee stated that he was in the hospital and couldn't turn his application in on time. But he turned it in late.
So we're gonna allow people to turn in applications late and we're still gonna approve?
That's up to council. It's not up to me.
Okay. Council, I think we need to re-advertise that and then do the process, because it's not fair that people apply and then there's deadlines. If we break that, then that's gonna open a door for future applicants. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
But-
I kind of agree with that because Tribal Secretary Whitefeather said he didn't turn it in until a month later. And if he was in the hospital, it seemed to me like he would have gotten word to somebody. We still have telephones and so I agree with that, that we need to be consistent. Thank you.
Thank you. I got Ms. Lee and then Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Chairman LeBeau. Out of respect to Mr. Pearman, who's a veteran, no one else had applied or else, this wouldn't even be on the floor. But he is the chairman of the Housing Authority Board, and he is the chairman of the OTCAGA, the new OTCAGA board. And we did have a meeting last week. And for consistency, I'd like to see him stay on. And if you don't agree with it, then you just don't vote for it. Thank you.
Mr. Thompson?
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I support putting him on there. I think he'd be good there. That's our choice, and we just last month we did away with the grievance board, so we didn't follow policy there. So I don't see why we got to follow it here.
Any more comments? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryson Woods, absent. Steve Tenknife Jr. John Kemp.
Yes.
Pardon, Kenrick? Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller. Kelsey Haskell,
Yes.
Thad Rose,
Yes.
Derek Bartlett,
No.
Francine Hall,
No,
Joe Brinksplenny, Bob Walters, Ronald Russo, absent. Tuffy Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
I got 7 yes, 4 no, 2 abstain, 2 absent. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to make a motion to advertise the Cheyenne River Housing Authority Board District 4 for 30 days position.
This one was approved.
No, there's 2, 3, 4, 5 yes, there's 4 no, and 2 abstain. That's a fail.
You got 7 yes,
All 7?
2 abstained, and 2 absent.
Okay, I must said it wrong.
I said it passed.
Okay, you're the boss. I'll pull my motion.
Okay, Madam Secretary, please continue.
Okay, thank you, council. Next one I have is District 5, Telephone Authority Board of Directors. We had one position open. We have one applicant, Roxy Holloway.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Ms. Lee to approve
Roxy Holloway,
Roxy Holloway,
District 5,
District 5, Telephone Authority Board. Only applicant, so motion include the pending the background check. Yes, second still there, so we'll call for the vote. Madam Secretary?
Bryson Woods, absent Steve,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent, motion carries.
River Housing Authority, Board of Directors, one position, we got one applicant,
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Ms. Haskell to approve pending the background check for Monica Lawrence. Comments or questions? Madam Secretary, call for the vote.
Bryson Woods, absent Steve Moran,
Yes.
Tenai Junior,
Yes.
John Kessler,
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller,
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell,
Yes.
Thad Rose,
Yes.
Derek Bartlett,
Yes.
Francine Hall,
Yes.
Joe Bringsmoney, Bob Walters. Ronald Russo, absent. Tuffy Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, 13 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent, motion carries.
Tribal Council, that's all I got for my report. Thank you.
Chairman. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to pay the District 5 ARPA Housing Allocation Board. They had a meeting and they weren't able to be paid because it wasn't within the budget. Now, when the Tribal Council went at that process, there should have been some more thought into that budget and to pay the boards. So to me, that was just a smokescreen to throw this housing plan in the trash. But District 5's cooperating. You know, District 5 had 30 families on a list and council stopped it at the time. And so District 5's been cooperating and they did the process. Now they ain't being paid. They had one meeting. The closing date happened for the applications for people that submitted applications for them homes. They had a meeting and they plan on having another meeting, but we need to get that taken care of. They're already approved by Tribal Council as a board, the ARPA Housing Allocation Board. So I'll make a motion to approve to pay the ARPA Housing Allocation Board, District 5's.
I second that.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Bartlett,
For each meeting, amend it to each, for each meeting that they have. I believe they're gonna have one more meeting to go review the applications and then the process is through the lottery system. So it's either drawing names from a hat or the bingo ball machine will select 27 or 28 homes for individuals living in District 5. So, thank you.
second by Ms. Hall. Got comments from the treasurer? and-
You swell do all of them, because there's others that are gonna come and ask for it also. And just take it out of your $4 million or whatever your allotment is, however they meet, so.
Mr. Chair.
And it'll probably be the same that we pay all boards. Thank you.
You want to amend your motion, Mr. Bartlett?
Yeah, I'll amend my motion to pay the boards that followed the process through those districts on putting that board together, because I know some districts already selected a board. It wasn't necessarily called the ARPA Housing Allocation Board. They just created some type of board to allocate homes before this policy and process came out. So District 5 has followed the process. We were the first to take that on. We were the first to secure the money. Yet. So I'll amend it to add all districts that followed the process on selecting their boards.
Okay, second still there? Okay, second still there, and Ms. Hall. Ms. Whitewell, go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, did Tribal Council pass a motion in that resolution to pay the ARPA? These, I thought the districts were gonna decide and they were gonna choose their own board within the district themselves to allocate these houses. And nowhere, when I was on council, did we approve for them to get paid. And District 4 has a motion to amend that resolution. And so they're totally doing something different than what District 5 did. And all the commotion that was caused over there in District 5, that was all over social media. So I just think that I'm a little bit concerned that District 4 hasn't made a decision yet. With their $4 million, and if District 5 wants to pay out of their remaining $3 million or 2-point-some million dollars that they got left, that's up to District 5, but I think that District 4 should be able to decide what they want to do with it, rather than having council do it, because we did leave it up to them. And until we present our district minutes, you know, I'd like District 4, I don't know how my colleagues from District 4 feel, but I think we need to take that to our district and bring it up at our district meeting and have our district people vote on that and use that as an option. That's how I feel as a District 4 council representative. I'll yield to my District 4 colleagues who I think should be able to comment on this too. I'd like to hear from them. Thank you.
Got Ms. Lee, then Mr. Bartlett.
Thank you, Chairman LeBeau. I guess it's coming from my question was where would the funds come from, but it was stated it would come from the ARPA allocation from each district. But what amount will the payment, the board payment be for each board? Because I thought in the beginning it was decided it would be a volunteer board and people volunteered, like Mr. Knife's board met months ago and volunteered and selected their homes in that. But I just thought it was supposed to be a volunteer board, but I just knew this motion was coming because I said, just watch. We brought it up at our district meeting also. People are going to be wanting to be paid for these boards next because that's the next thing that's going to come. So I was just wondering what amount is there amount that's decided and all that? I guess those are just my questions. Thank you.
Would assume the same, similar to amounts for as the other boards, but Mr. Bartlett, go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman LeBeau. The District 5 has Sydney Dupree, Maxine Flyingby, Al Fast Horse, Albert Spotted Bear, Cindy Shad. Now, if my colleagues read the policy, and I know Ms. Miller just got back into council, her district took her out of office and she made her way back into office. So there's a lot of reading that you guys have to catch up on. Your mind's still stuck on the issues at the auditorium and social media and Facebook. Try to take time, instead of reading Facebook, read your policies and procedures. There's a process. It explains everything on the boards, the payment. So if you just read your documents, and if you guys are concerned about homes instead of payments, District 5 was concerned about homes. Our population in District 5, the Hope Shelter, the motel, the agency, the family shelter, that's all District 5. So our job is to create homes. We created homes. We secured $15 million of ARPA. We allocated up to $100 million of ARPA for our members for payment. So now District 4 came in and caused problems with that ARPA dollars that was put there for homes. Now, if you look at District 4, we have people that are homeless, living in dilapidated conditions. And to me, this money needs to stay. District 5 put this money there for a reason. It's to secure people that are struggling, unless my colleagues from District 4 have another plan on creating homes besides going and applying at Housing Authority. We need to continue this process. The payments are like any other board. The policy didn't say anything about anything else but for District 5 to create a board. And council, some of my colleagues don't understand this part either. Ms. Miller, is that the policy was amended that the districts will choose on how many people will sit on that board. District 5 chose 5. I believe it's up to 7 because my colleagues, District 3, District 2, Mr. Knife's district, they had, I think they had 7 or 8 in that district. So to please that district, the council decided that it's up to the district on how many board members that they would select. District 5 selected 5. So they had a meeting, they ain't being paid, and all I'm saying is we need to pay them. The policy, the process is there. And read your documents, and it spells out everything on the process. I know District 4 don't care about that process. They want a payment. So everything's there, but District 5's, we need to pay the board. So that's my motion is $150, just like any other board. They get paid $150. So these 5 board members need to be paid. So I'm hoping that after this motion passes, the finance department can process their checks, because they've been waiting, I believe, a couple weeks, and then they're planning on having another meeting to review the applications, and then they'll go into the lottery system. They'll either draw names from a hat, or they'll use the bingo machine to pull up the 27 or 28 balls, and those individuals' numbers on those applications and on them balls that are selected by the machine, they will get the homes. So, thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
I got Ms. Hall and then Ms. Whiteball.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've kind of set the precedent, years ago by paying our board members for their service. And, you also have to consider that a lot of our board members are unemployed. And, you know, with the lack of jobs on the reservation and our high unemployment rate, this is one way that they can not only do service for the tribe, but, you know, earn some money while doing that. So I think we've already set the precedent, you know, to pay our boards. I remember back in the 70s, you know, I sat on the school board, I sat on the college board, and didn't get paid, but we knew that, you know, there wasn't any money to pay. And so, you know, we volunteered our time. But I think, you know, the times and the conditions have changed. And now, you know, we are in a position where we can pay our boards for their service. So I think we need to, you know, stay with that practice and put it in our budgets. You know, we pay our school boards. You look across the nation, you look in South Dakota, you look on the reservation boards, you know, school boards, they all get paid. So that's kind of expected. So thank you.
Madam Secretary, the reason I never read our policies because after I got elected in, again for the second time, I never got a copy of the new policies that were amended. Do you think that your office could email me a copy of the amended policies and what they stipulate? That's how come I was bringing it up, because I don't remember from the previous time that I was in council. But, you know, I don't have a problem with paying the boards from other districts, because I believe our district volunteered too. But I'd like to see, you know what I mean, the policy. I'd like to have the policies emailed to me. Thank you. Bye.
Mr. Rose?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone, and everyone listening. Mr. Bartlett, if we specify that the funding source for this action is coming from the money set aside for housing, I'll support it. Is that specified in your motion?
Madam Secretary, can you clarify that? The policy either says the tribe will pay the boards. I don't remember anything in the policy stating that it comes out of ARPA. It says that the board shall be paid like any other board. So it doesn't specifically state where the funding comes from, but to me, any other board is paid by the tribe, not the ARPA. So can you clarify that, Madam Secretary?
Chairman? Yep. Thank you. I don't have that ARPA housing, but I recall it does state that the board shall get payment, but it doesn't specify where and which line item it's going to come out of. I know they were bringing the minutes to my office, and we have nothing to do with these community boards. We only handle district meeting minutes. That's what we get budgeted for. And so I don't know if there's a line item that council created in the budget that's gonna come out of, just like your but there's a budget that gets approved by council every fiscal year. So I don't know where the money's gonna come from, if council's gonna approve this motion that was amended to include that payment will come from the 4 million from each district. You know, that's up to council if they want to do that.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Not really. If the funding source is unclear, I won't support the motion because it's not good practice to spend money on council floor without deciding where it's coming from.
Chairman, amend my motion to have it come out of ARPA.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the secretary, our treasurer recommended that as well. So the motion's been amended. The second's still there, Ms. Hall? Yes. Okay, second's still there. I got Ms. Haskell and then Ms. Whiteball.
I will only support this if it's coming out of District 5's $4 million, not the ARPA fund. Are we clear on that, Mr. Treasurer? Is that where that's coming from? It'll be deducted off their 4 million? Thank you. District 4 will be donating their time.
Chairman, I'll amend it that it comes out of the district's ARPA. So this will come out of District 5, so my colleagues are clear. The board will be paid out of District 5's remaining funds, ARPA housing allocation funds.
Ms. Whiteball?
Mr. Chairman, I had the same concern Council Representative Rose did, that if we were gonna expend it out of the general fund, it should go to Budget Committee to look for the funds. And, you know what I mean? Because that's good practice to do that, to send it to budget. And in the council I served on previous, before December, these always went to the Budget Committee to look for the funds to make sure they were available. So I just wanted to make sure we continue to follow those good practices with expenditures that come up on an emergency basis. And then, so these housing boards could have 20 meetings and get paid for each meeting. Is that correct? Because there's no specified. I haven't seen the policy, so is there a limit on what they can spend, or, you know what I mean? Can they have 25 meetings, you know what I mean, and get paid for all 25? Is that in the policies? So we're just gonna approve for them to get paid and they just meet whenever they need to, right? Thank you.
Mr. Bartlett?
Yeah, Chairman, there ain't gonna be 20 meetings. The deadline ended. They had a meeting to establish the board. The next meeting, they're gonna review applications. And if you read your policy, Madam Secretary, can you email my colleague over here, Ms. Miller? She's new to council. She needs to review that. We got other business to attend to. It's a simple policy. The board's gonna review these applications and then they're gonna do the lottery system. The policy states that they will basically vacate that position once the homes are allocated either by the board or by a lottery system. District 5 chose the lottery system. So once that part's completed, within 1 or 2 more meetings, they're done. Their job's done, according to the policy. So there's not no 20 or 1,000 meetings, so it's not a big issue. Thank you.
Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Inowitz,
Abstain?
I didn't hear you.
Huh? What board? Oh, yes. Sorry about that, yes.
Steve Moran,
Yes.
Ted Knife Jr.?
Yes.
Oh, clarification, this is just for the District 5,
It's for all districts.
but he amended it, that payment will come out of District 5 ARPA. In District 4 said they're gonna volunteer.
It's for all districts, and each district would pay for their own, out of their district housing ARPA money.
How'd you say that? Include all districts?
Yeah, for all the districts and the money.
Payment?
The payment come out of the district's housing ARPA allocation.
At third, you said them at their discretion. Oh, if they choose to do so?
Yeah. I mean, it's not really a choice if, I mean, it's choice if they have the board or not.
15. Yeah, it's like District 4 said that they're gonna volunteer.
Can I get a clarification of the motion, Madam Secretary?
Council, clarify motion. The first motion was to pay the District 5 ARPA Housing Allocation Board for each meeting. Then it was amended to include the other districts that follow the process.
Chairman, should that be a resolution for expenditures? By resolution?
No, it's for the money to pay the boards. That there's already a existing resolution in place for to create the board, the district housing board, and this is just a motion to get them paid, that it comes out of the district housing ARPA allocation for all the districts. Mr. Kessler?
Can we still have discussion, Chairman? Thank you. Good morning, general public. Good morning, my colleagues, executives. I too kind of think that this board structure was set up as a volunteer originally, and almost every board that I've sat on has had a regular board meeting and so many special board meetings per month. And if we don't have any structure, I could see where that possibly could happen. They'll be having regular meetings and getting paid, and if you guys are okay with that, that's fine. But I really do think that structure is something that should be looked at in the policy. It ain't written in the policy because there was never any pay that was put on the table at the time. So once again, we rush into things, motion. So here we go. Yes.
Whenever you're ready, Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
The housing application and policy was emailed to you all, so check your emails. Kenrick DePreez? Ken,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, council representatives, executives, or one public. So during that conversation between Ms. Haskell and Treasurer, and it was stated that for those boards, individuals that are going to be getting paid out should come out from those districts. So that was my understanding. Because it sounds like it's just coming all out of District 5. Okay, just needed some clarity on that, okay?
Motion to pay the District 5 ARPA allocation for each board meeting and to include the districts that follow the process.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, the money is coming out of each district's own allocated funds to pay for the boards. And want to continue, Madam Secretary?
Kenrick DePreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller.
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall.
Yes.
Joe Bringsby. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Absent Tuffy Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, 14 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 1 absent, motion carries. Council, let's take a few minute break.
Mary, did you get it? No. Did you get the email?
These were emailed out on the 28th of last month, so everyone should have these available in your inbox. If you need copies, staff can make copies. So we go on to the Executive Resolution number E95 2023 CR. Third, whereas in 1977, Congress passed the Food Stamp Act, which enabled tribes to receive direct funding to administer their food distribution programs. And whereas the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe had demonstrated its ability to properly administer its food distribution program, and whereas the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe's food distribution program is a federally funded program that is using the remaining funds to help protect our clients from the weather when loading their packages, and is in dire need to build a shelter drive-up distribution cover to protect the elements from the elements of weather for residents that are coming to apply and loading their monthly USDA food package. Now therefore be resolved that the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe's food distribution program is requesting the remaining use of USDA FY 2020 FDIPR CARES Act facility improvements and equipment upgrade grant in the amount of $40,291.00 to complete construction on a drive-up distribution shelter, and be it finally resolved. The disclaimer. Got a motion by Mr. Walters, second by Ms. Lee. Comments or questions? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Underwood. Steve Moran.
Yes.
Ted Knight Jr.
Yes.
John Kessler.
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez. Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Mary Miller. Yes. Kelsey Haskell.
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett. Absent Francine Hall.
Yes.
Joe Briggs Plenty. Bob Walters. Ronald Russo. Absent Kathy Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 2 absent, motion carries. The next one here, Executive Resolution number E96 2023 CR Wildlife Smoke Emergency Declaration. Third, whereas Article 4, Section 1 of the Constitution of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe mandates that the tribe protect the public health and morals and promote the public welfare of the people. And whereas Cheyenne River Declaration.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion approved by Ms. Lee, second by Mr. Walters. Comments, Mr. Underwoods, go ahead.
Chairman, can you amend that to reflect that we need to, like this Kansas wildfire, but that smoke went out. I'm glad it didn't hit while I was here during the fair, but it came after. So there were some good prayers. But we need to have a monitor report, like on a KIPI, maybe weekly. Who's gonna do that? EPD or Ramona says she's keeping track of the air quality? either Tribal Health or EPD do a weekly report on KIPEI telling of the air quality monitor. We need to have that, because like, I'm glad this is here now, but like us guys have to mask up, man, with that smoke's out there. So maybe you need to add COVID too, because that's attacking our whole body, man. And maybe add that in there, COVID, SARS-2 COVID, SARS-2 COVID. Because I don't know about them young guys, but they're probably, that smoke's probably triggering symptoms. Did you add those amendments for a report on air quality on KIPI in there? Just a weekly report, or, to see how the smoke came in yesterday, that smoke came in?
Yeah.
So like a weekly report. And be able to amend that, Bob? That's up to the executives to amend.
Ms. Lee, you want to amend that to include the, a monitor, weekly monitor
Air quality
of,
report.
Yes.
yeah, air quality, okay.
And can you add that,
Motions,
can you add that SARS-2 COVID in there too?
let's keep this,
This is the air quality for
yeah,
wildfires.
that'd be a different resolution, I think.
We have to stick to that area.
Do you still second that, Mr. Walters? Motion has been amended to include air quality monitoring, weekly report.
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay. Any other comments, council members? Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
What date did we receive those emails on those executive resolutions? Because it'll help me look for them.
Last month.
Mary821@gmail,
The date.
August 28th,
Thank you.
2:49 PM.
Madam Secretary, whenever you're ready.
Bryson Woods,
Lamalo, Oha.
John Kessler,
Yes.
Kenrick Dupreez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller,
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell,
Yes.
Thad Rose,
Yes.
Derek Bartlett,
Yes.
Francine Hall,
Yes.
Joe Brinkspuni, Bob Walters, Ronald Russo, absent Tuffy Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
14 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 1 absent, motion carries. Council will move on to next executive resolution, number E-148, 2023 CR. Third, whereas the tribe is committed to providing quality, effective, and efficient emergency housing repair for elderly and handicapped individuals through the CRST ARPA home repair project. And whereas the contractor Caleb Palmer has engaged both the CRST Taro and CRST Revenue Office to provide updated listings of licensed native contractors, and whereas the CRST Legal Department has reviewed a template contract for the engagement of contractors to repair homes in a timely manner, and whereas the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation is located in north central South Dakota, which has a limited construction season for such repairs, and whereas the CRST ARPA home repair project contractors vary in range, with the highest being lower than $20,000 per house. Now therefore be resolved that the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Executive Committee here approves the recommendation from the Tribal Projects Committee Chairman to approve the attached contract with Caleb Palmer as a method to expedite the work of the CRST ARPA home repair project, and be it further resolved that no contract will exceed the ceiling price of $20,000 per house, and be it further resolved that the contract approval require approval of both the funding source and chairman's office, and be it finally resolved. The disclaimer, motion approved by Mr. Walters, second by Mr. Rose. Comments, questions? Mr. In the Woods.
Chairman, clarification on that 20 per contractor? Is that what that
Per
is?
house. Not to exceed.
Per house?
Yeah, not to exceed.
So each contractor can't exceed that?
Each contractor can't exceed 20,000, spending 20,000 per house. Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
$14 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 1 absent, motion carries. Council, we go on to our next executive resolution, E-149, 2023 CR. Third, whereas the tribe is committed to providing quality, effective, efficient emergency housing repair for elderly and handicapped individuals through the CRST ARPA home repair project, and whereas the contractor Tom Vrooman has engaged both the CRST Taro and CRST Revenue Office to provide updated listings and licensed native contractors, and whereas the CRST Legal Department has reviewed a template contract for the engagement of contractors to repair homes in a timely manner, and whereas the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation is located in north central South Dakota, which has a limited construction season for such repairs, and whereas the CRST ARPA home repair project contracts vary in range, with the highest being lower than $20,000 per house. Now therefore be resolved that the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Executive Committee hereby approves the recommendation from the Tribal Projects Committee Chairman to approve the attached contract with Tom Vrooman as a method to expedite the work of the CRST ARPA home repair project. Be it further resolved that no contract will exceed the ceiling pricing of $20,000 per house, and be it further resolved that the contract approval will require approval of both the funding source and the chairman's office. Be it finally resolved. The disclaimer.
Motion to approve, or second?
Motion approved by Mr. Walters, second by Ms. Lee.
Chairman LeBeau, can I
Yes.
make a comment?
Go ahead.
Mr. Vrooman needs to submit his Taro certification back to the Taro Department, because currently he's not considered a native contractor until he submits that paperwork. They've been doing their updated Taro certifications for Indian preference recently, and I believe he was on the last list I seen that didn't submit his back to the department. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Mr. In the Woods, go ahead.
Chairman, I see the other contractors coming in, and that's good now because we had a backlog there, and we got elders calling us, saying, when are they gonna check my roof out? And I was wondering, we got these 4 coming in, so can we get that list that Galen has, an updated list? And are you gonna go by districts to get those lists covered by these contractors? And can we get that list so we can look and see who's not even been helped yet, and who has been helped, and who has been completed?
We got that last month.
Got it?
That list last month.
Well, it'll
Okay.
go with these guys now. You see what I'm saying? We get that
Yeah.
list and you could break it down with these guys. So if these guys are in District 1, I could get a hold of them, because I'm getting calls and
Okay.
they want to know, so I'll tell them know that we got some more guys coming in,
Yeah.
Plama.
Mr. Rose?
I just wanted to, thank you, Chairman, just wanted to comment to Mr. Inwood's comment there that Mr. Means reports to the Tribal Projects and the Human Services Committee, and he provides updates on his program on a monthly basis and provides that list to us every time. Thank you.
Mr. Kessler? Yeah, thank Lexi and Dean for the soup. Warming it up for us. Madam Secretary, please call for the vote.
Bryce Underwoods,
Oh,
Steve Moran,
Yes.
Ken Ive Jr.,
Yes.
John Kessler,
Yes.
Ken Wright DePreez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller, Kelsey Haskell,
Yes.
Thad Rose,
Yes.
Derek Bartlett,
Yes.
Francine Hall,
Yes.
Joe Brinksplenny, Bob Walters, Ronald Russo, absent Tuffy Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
14 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 1 absent, motion carries. Council will move on to the next executive resolution, number E 150, 2023, CR. Third, whereas the tribe is committed to providing quality, effective, and efficient emergency housing repair for the elderly and handicapped individuals through the CRST ARPA Home Repair Project. Whereas contractor Robert Redbear Sr. has engaged both CRST, Taro, and CRST Revenue Office to provide updated listings of licensed native contractors, and whereas the CRST Legal Department has reviewed a template contract for the engagement of contractors to repair homes in a timely manner, and whereas the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation is located in north central South Dakota, which has a limited construction season for such repairs, and whereas the CRST ARPA Home Repair Project contracts vary in range, with the highest being lower than $20,000 per house. Now therefore be resolved that the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Executive Committee hereby approves the recommendation from the Tribal Projects Committee Chairman to approve the attached contract with Robert Redbear Sr. as a method to expedite the work of the CRST ARPA Home Repair Project, and be it further resolved that no contract will exceed the ceiling pricing of $20,000 per house, and be it further resolved that the contract approval will require approval of both the funding source and the chairman's office. Be it finally resolved, the disclaimer. Motion approved by Mr.
Second.
Walters, second by Mrs. Hall.
Mr. Chairman?
Comments? Ms. Whiteball, go ahead.
Yeah, Taro Bat landfill, where is that at? What is that? 'Cause I'm looking at these names for these bids, or this bid worksheet thing, the CRST third 3- bid worksheet, and it has Arvin Red Bear, and then it has the amount that was spent. Taro Bat landfill, is that what that is? What is that? Is that a?
Mr. Rose, go ahead.
I can contact the ARPA Home Repair Director and get clarification on that.
Well, I'm just curious because that's not a name, is it? Is that a person's house or?
Let me,
Oh, so we're paying the fees, okay.
That's the bat fee.
I didn't see that in the other ones.
so,
Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, I looked through the other contracts, or I didn't see that in those ones, so that's why I was just curious. I thought maybe that's what that was, but, okay, thank you.
Yeah, there's a taro fee, there's the bat fee, and the landfill fee. Taro fee funds the taro project. The bat fee goes to the bats. And then landfill goes to
Basic
the landfill.
apprenticeship
I
training
figured
program.
that. I just wanted it on record. Thank you.
I think that's Bureau of Apprenticeship Training. Yeah. Okay, any other comments? Madam Secretary?
Bryce Woods,
Oh,
Steve Moran,
Yes.
Tenai Jr.,
Yes.
John Kessler,
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller,
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell,
Yes.
Thad Rose,
Yes.
Derek Bartlett,
Yes.
Francine Hall,
Yes.
Joe Brinkspuni, Bob Walters, Ronald Russo, absent Tuffy Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Got 14 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 1 absent, motion carries. Council, we go on to our next one, Executive Resolution number E-151, 2023 CR, whereas the tribe is committed to providing quality, effective, and efficient emergency and housing repair for the elderly and handicapped individuals through the CRST ARPA Home Repair Project, and whereas the contractor Alex Chasing Hawk has engaged both the CRST Taro and CRST Revenue Office to provide updated listings of licensed native contractors, and whereas the CRST Legal Department has reviewed a template contract for the engagement of contractors to repair homes in a timely manner, and whereas the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation is located in north central South Dakota, which has a limited construction season for such repairs, and whereas the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation, the CRST ARPA Home Repair Project contracts vary in range, with the highest being lower than $20,000 per house. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Executive Committee here approves the recommendation from the Tribal Projects Committee Chairman to approve the attached contract with Alex Chasing Hawk as a method to expedite the work of the CRST ARPA Home Repair Project. And be it further resolved that no contract will exceed the ceiling pricing of $20,000 per house, and be it further resolved that the contract approval will require approval of both the funding source and chairman's office, and be it finally resolved, the disclaimer.
Motion. Second.
Motion approved by Mr. Walters, second by Mrs. Lee. Comments or questions? Ms. Hall, go ahead.
In looking at this, if you look on the bid worksheet, he includes all the names: Ella Meter, Jenny LeBeau, Dallas Scareshawk, Jay Cook, Anita Thompson. But he didn't put Jermaine Dunn in there. But if you look at the packet, he does include her. He does include her in the amount of $3,350. So that total amount of $35,436, you need to add $3,350 to that amount.
Chairman, motion to amend the resolution to add that.
You want to include that in your motion, Mr. Walters? That amendment?
Chairman.
Okay,
Chairman
second
LeBeau.
still there.
Alex Chasing Hawk is certified as a native contractor with the Taro office. Thank you.
You want to second that motion still? Okay. Any other comments? We'll call for the vote. Madam Secretary?
Chairman, one comment, didn't thoroughly review all of these, are they all the same? They might have what District 5 brought on. Would that have to be with all of them, or what?
No, that was-
We might have missed that, Francine pointed it out.
Yeah.
I'm just asking if that might be with each contract, or? I didn't-
Well, Jermaine lives in District 5.
So like in District 1, those names, the ones that are calling me aren't on that list, so I'll have to get with Galen, or what? Or did they?
Yeah. Okay, we'll get it worked out. Madam Secretary?
Bryce Sendowitz,
Uh-huh.
Steve Moran,
Yes.
Tenai Junior,
Yes.
John Kessler,
Yes.
Kenrick DePreez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller,
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell,
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett,
Yes.
Francine Hall,
Yes.
Joe Bringsmoney, Bob Walters, Ronald Russo, absent Tuffy Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
14 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 1 absent, motion carries. Council, we move on to our next executive resolution number E155 CR, I'm sorry, 155 2023 CR. Starting from the third whereas, when it enacted the Indian Child Welfare Act, ICWA, the U.S. Congress declared that it is the policy of this nation to protect the best interest of Indian children and to promote the stability and security of Indian tribes and families by the establishment of minimum federal standards for the removal of Indian children from their families and the placement of such children in foster or adoptive homes, which will reflect the unique values of Indian culture, and by providing for assistance to Indian tribes in the operation of child and family service programs. Whereas Congress declared in the ICWA and the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe agrees that there is no resource that is more vital to the continued existence and integrity of the Indian tribes than their children. 25 USC subsection 1901(3), and whereas the ICWA provides that in any state court proceeding for the foster care, placement of, or termination of parental rights to the Indian child's tribe shall have a right to intervene at any point in the preceding 25 USC subsection 1911(c). And whereas intervention by an Indian child's tribe ensures that the child will not be removed from his or her community and consequently lost touch with his or her Indian traditions and heritage, and whereas it is well settled that the right of intervention under 25 USC subsection 1911(c) and the numerous other prerogatives accorded the tribes through the ICWA's substantive provisions must be seen as a means of protecting not only the interest of individual Indian children and families, but also the tribes themselves. Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians versus Holyfield, 490 USC 3049, 1989, and whereas it is the standard practice of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe to intervene in all the ICWA cases involving children who are enrolled or eligible for enrollment in the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe. Whereas South Dakota Codified Laws, subsection 26(8)(a) 33 states that in any abuse or neglect proceedings that individual involving a child to January 1st, 2005, the tribe may appear by counsel or by a representative of the tribe designated by the tribe to intervene on behalf of the tribe. When the tribe appears as a party by a representative of the tribe, the name of the representative and a statement of authorization for that individual or agency to appear as the tribe must be submitted to the court in the form of a tribal resolution or other document evidencing an official of the tribe. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Executive Committee by this official act hereby designates and authorizes the Indian Child Welfare Program of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe and following named officials and employees of the Indian Child Welfare Program of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe to serve as representatives of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe and to intervene on behalf of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe in any Indian child welfare case, whether in the South Dakota or any other jurisdiction in which one or more children are enrolled or eligible for enrollment in the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe. Diane Garrow, Director, Larray Forbear, Case Manager, Caleb Agola, Case Manager, Frankie Vyatt, Case Manager, and Robin Haskell, Case Manager. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Be it finally resolved, the disclaimer. Motion approved by
I'll
Mr.
second.
Walters, second by Mrs. Hall.
I'll second with a correction on the first page, a typographical error on the sixth whereas. It should say lose, not lost. I looked on the original, the one that was submitted, and it says lose if you look on the resolution. It's just a typo. They made a typo on that.
Okay, motion has been amended. Seconded by Mrs. Hall. Thanks for the correction. I got Mrs. Weibel, then Mr. Underwoods.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was going to ask, are the courts requiring this when our ICWA workers go to bring a child back or something?
Good.
Thank you. And good question. To my understanding, when this resolution is brought forward, I don't know if I signed it or if you signed it, Mr. Chairman, but when this resolution is brought forward, they need this resolution so that they can go into the courts, and the courts are requiring it. I believe they said that they've been allowing them in there, but they keep asking for this to state the people that are going to come in and represent the Indian child welfare. And so that's why the resolution came forward. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, was this drafted by one of our attorneys? Was this drafted by one of our attorneys?
I don't know.
Oh.
Mr. Underwoods?
Chairman, when you read on that ninth whereas, that last sentence is evidence and official at the tribe or official of the tribe. If you strike at, official of the tribe, or official at the tribe. You got at of, so you got to strike at.
Okay, yeah, she's got it down.
And then the last one on that, therefore be it resolved, we got a legal entity here with the Unsi Nakichis. We should put them in here too. Because they're spearheading that, and they'll be quite aware of it. And as the momentum grows, hopefully that intervention is at the grandmas. And accept that. I don't know where you put it, maybe even before or after case manager. And then and also the Unchi Nakichis here. They're legal body. We did that. If the motion maker accept that,
You want to include that, the unchis in the resolution? Okay.
I think that will have to come up as a separate resolution.
I don't think so.
Mr. Chairman?
They are spearheading it, Vice Chairman. When she Nakichi, they're the ones that are pressing the CICWA. They did deal with our ECWA program too. So that kind of aggressiveness is what we need.
I think we need this as a baseline for our program to respond to these court hearings and cases.
But you got to also consider Chairman and Vice Chairman. We got a ECWA task force that we're pressing now. We need to empower our people and our families, especially the single parents.
If the task force wants in on this resolution, then they should make that request.
I think we did make this request, didn't we? The ICWA was one of the resolution. Is this the one that's coming out of the ICWA task force? Or was that out of the?
I got Ms. Hall and then Ms. Lee.
I know Joe's spearheading that ICWA task force, and I'm on there, and we got these ones on there, and we got others on there. And we want to address that whole ICWA, the law, strengthen it. And by doing this, we can get amendments into the ICWA law, recognizing that at that level, amendment to legislation. Because that's kind of an old law. It probably needs to be updated too with our input, under consultation. Because you guys all realize ICWA was under attack, and they lost, Supreme Court with this language in here, We should have put that in here too, the Supreme Court ruling. That way it educate whoever reads this, it educate them. Like the Grandma's group, they probably feel excluded. It's up to you. I just suggesting that. Phenomenal.
Thank you. You got Ms. Hall and then Ms. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm pretty well aware of the ICWA law because when I was in law school, we had to argue this case, this Holyfield case, and I was on the side of the tribes to retain jurisdiction over their children, and I know that the law does require, that the tribes can intervene, and the states are supposed to recognize that, and what has happened over the years is the states don't recognize when tribes want to intervene on behalf of their children. The way this resolution is written, I am going to support it because it does lay out the official representatives from our tribe, and that's something that the court is requiring. So those people that go down, they intervene and they go down and they present this resolution, then the court will recognize under ICWA, they'll recognize their right, our tribe to intervene, and then that placement then comes into effect. And there's that before you take a child and place them in the foster care system, they are to be, you first of all find family members of that child. So, and if no family member wants to take that child, then you look for somebody on the reservation, an Indian family that is, takes in children. And then the third placement would be another Indian, but is not a member of the tribe. And so, it's got those placement categories listed in the statute. A lot of times, that's not followed. The state will just come in and take the child. They instigate termination of parental rights, and then the kid then, the child then is placed in the foster care system, and or is after the termination of parental rights, then they can adopt that child out. And when you read the legislative history of ICWA, families and their tribe, and they've been adopted out into white families, and then years later when they're adults, they come back to the tribe and they're trying to find their identity, find who they are, and it really does create a trauma for them. And so that's why this law was passed by Congress. They didn't want that to happen. You've got children that are divorced from their culture, their identity. So, and I believe, while Mr. In the Woods is talking about the Unchis, the grandmothers, and yes, unfortunately, they are the ones that step up and raise the children after they've already raised their families. Now they're being asked to raise their grandchildren. But I believe that, we've got an established ICWA program here, and we've got case managers that work with these families and represent, those families and the best interests of the children. That's what we have to remember. ICWA, the policy is what's best for the child. So that's the prevailing doctrine for ICWA. So I'm glad that we're doing this. I'm glad we're identifying people that are our representatives that can have the authority to go and intervene on behalf of our children who are enrolled members or eligible for enrollment. So, thank you.
Chairman, just
Hang on, Bryce. I got Sharon next, and then we'll go back to you.
Thank you, Chairman LeBeau. I believe this resolution is just for the ICWA staff. I used to work there before, and that's why the staff is listed in here. And if the Unchis group want to do a separate resolution, they're sure welcome to do that. But I know it looks to me to be specific to ICWA. So I think this resolution should stay as it is. And for the record, ICWA did win a huge case recently, Burkine versus Holland. That was a huge win for our children, for our tribes, for ICWA. So yes, we don't always win every case, but that was a big win for us just a few months back. Thank you.
Mr. Inowitz, go ahead.
Palama Sonka Wichasha. What kinds in a Taiwan topic is there? Lehane Milahanska. Hetse la Julia, we are taking you down, Nishnim, Chim. So I can't you. Now take you on Kwa. Hey, so yapta hecha, ni Pogo Wichasha, we are. The Lakota hunters, so yapta hecha. So if you're Lakota, then you should understand this when it comes to how we've been attacked. And it went with the families In 1890, 91, they took the children. After Wounded Knee, 1891, they took the children. So the parents used to camp out at these boarding schools. And now there's all these children that are coming about as signs to Lakotas, to the people, that we have to protect them. So the mindset here is not right. It's like a Washitula mindset. Because I don't know how many of you understood what I just said. I know Ray does. I don't know if Diane understood what I said. They have to correct what they've done to us. And the signs are that there's 25,000 children that were buried at 127, still counting. It's probably going to be more than that. Children murdered, and their families just left in despair. That's where tradition comes in, and culture comes in, and heritage comes in. And it says it right here. So don't ignore that. You better start thinking Lakota when you use culture and traditions and heritage. That's tradition, Bob, because it's Lakota. You're ignoring that. And then they put this language in here. And if you guys know our history, we should be making our own laws. You guys are like bound down to ICWA. Don't use culture, tradition, and heritage if you don't recognize grandmas. Hey, holy Tuahe. You know, some don't have grandfathers and grandmothers. Maybe they just have one parent. That's the situation, you know. And those guys get attacked, those fathers and mothers, they fight for their children and they still get pushed down and kicked today. So that lawsuit that the Lakota People's Law Project won was against that judge over here, that when these ICWA children come in and the grandmothers weren't even notified, 5 minutes, they're giving those children to Washichu families. That's what that judge got convicted on. That was a victory. Don't ignore that. Supreme Court ruling. It's up to us. We got to be Lakota now. You're failing because you're not doing that. You think the white man's law and all these things that help us, that we fight for, I'll tell you right now, the ICWA program is probably overwhelmed. They need help. Just like this body here. We're not covering 360. And we should be. If you're Lakota, we cover 360, man, with our life. But you guys don't have that commitment. It's obvious. And we're talking about Wakansa now, Wakan Hechop, you know, the sacred ones. And you guys have your own opinions. You know, why don't you go out there and talk to some of these parents that went through this and those grandparents? Maybe it would sound a little different, man. Maybe you'll support this little, you know, these grandmothers that have been fighting and the door slammed on them. And they're a legal body under IRA. So you're ignoring that or what? If you're a Sundancer, you shouldn't ignore defending the children. You shouldn't be an IRA, Milahanska regimented, you know. You should be free, independent, thinking for our people. You know, I don't like that when people say ICWA is stronger than Lakotas. No, it's not. Especially today. So I support this. The language is good, but I'm pointing out something to you that don't understand Lakota. Understand Lakota when you say culture and tradition and heritage in the resolution, and you don't want to recognize the legal IRA entity, now that's tradition because they go by Lakota. You're ignoring the fact that traditional law applies. You know, so I'm hoping some of you council reps really get into who you are, or, you know, And you don't have much time to either. There's a sense of urgency on this. If we keep failing these children, you know, we have the director here. We can put it up there, and you know, but I don't want to do that. I already know they're swamped, and they need legal help. Just like these grandmas that finally kicked the door down, and they're standing right up there, and they're bringing things to us, you know. So don't ignore elders, man. Don't ignore Uchis. That's to those children and families, peril. If she can't cover it, they can. Can we rely on them like that? That's disrespectful, you know. Uchis, defending grandmothers. And you guys are talking like this, you know, regimented, what are you? RE council rep? You know, what is that? Come on, we have to strengthen our laws. Let's do it. This body needs help, man. Our people need help. So when someone comes in here, Lakota, support it. You know, instead of another resolution, but it's still under ICWA. Those grandmas are still fighting the same battle. They come to Diane, you know, because I've heard a lot of stories about our program too. But I hope those work out, because the OTs are intervening now, and hopefully we intervene too, you know. That victory back then, you know, here in South Dakota, we're putting up with, you know, they don't want to deal with us. That's okay. They don't have no authority to deal with us. So we have power, but if we believe that we have to say yes to who, you know, and we could consult and change that equal law, make it stronger. That takes time. They can hang in there. I think they want to hang in there. You guys know that. So if you don't want to recognize that, then take, you know, this culture and tradition and heritage, because that's what you're ignoring right now. I'm excited when I hear that stuff, but then I don't get excited when you know, you guys don't understand tradition. You don't understand the language. Chairman, I was just hoping that could be amendment in there, you know, including the grandmother's group when she Nakichis in. If they weren't a legal body that this council approved of, but they are. So don't we empower the elders, empower the Unchis group? Here's one now. She's been fighting.
Mr. Underwoods, we got a motion and a second to approve. We can discuss that matter at a later date. The program needs this resolution in order to do their work, to do their job. So we're gonna, Mr. Brinkspani, and then we'll call for the vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Does it specifically have to have the individuals' names in here, or could it be added in that, you know, as an individual designated by CRST?
See, that's what we're asking, is that they be the state courts are requesting that we get an executive resolution from our tribe saying that we can represent these children in state courts. That's all that is. And so we had, Steve actually is the one that put this together, Steve Gunn. And so we've been waiting for like 2-3 months for this. And one of our courts in North Dakota, they're waiting for this. And so you can put my name on there alone, but these are case managers. And so I want them to be recognized so that they have some standing in their courts. And that's it. That's all we're asking for.
I don't want to slow up the process or anything, but what if there's a change of personnel? I mean, that changed the resolution as well. I'm just saying, if you say it's just the individual designated by CRST, then that should cover them as long as you designate them, right?
Idea to put in the case managers because they will be, because I can't do all these cases alone, and we're overwhelmed as it is. But the thing is he thought it'd be a good idea to put those in there because they're involved in these cases throughout the whole country, you guys.
Well, I mean, you probably didn't hear my question. The question was, what happens if there's a changeover in staff? That's going to change those individuals.
Names on the
I mean, would it be better to state individuals designated by the ICWA?
It could be.
I mean, so that way it covers them if, in case something happens, because you could find yourself in a quagmire if
Yep, and then, well, there is an individual now that is no longer there, and so her name can be taken off. But we definitely need, I don't care if you just put my name, but again, we were just looking forward.
So you could put Diane Garrow or other individuals identified or designated by the ICWA office to represent.
Yep, that would work.
Yeah. So if they amend that portion of it, then that'll cover it. So,
Yes, and in case, the case managers, so they'll be recognized as such. And that's really all we need. And we've been waiting 3 months for this. And we have a court in North Dakota, and she's a stickler judge, boy. But like I said, that's the only thing that they're waiting for. And as far as cases, we are overwhelmed, you guys. You don't even know. And so, I don't know what else to do. The only thing we do is keep going forward. On each and every child that's eligible or is enrolled in our tribe, we intervene legally on it. So that's a given. But now it's like finding people to monitor the cases and work with state courts and with state attorneys on these cases.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, good.
so are you saying to put the ICWA director's name in there and any one that is designated through the Indian Child Welfare Director's office? To represent?
yeah, they could do a letter.
I could, Mr. Chairman, I could accept that amendment like that.
Could you put, Mr. Chairman?
Chairman,
Let's just vote on this, approve it, and
Chairman,
if she needs to make changes in the future, she can always do the executive resolution process as she did going forward.
Chairman,
So,
just a little history. Jermaine Means came in here to council, former council rep, and she gave us the story of what she was facing. She said she was trying to intervene as a grandma back there about 20 years ago before we won that case, and the judge wouldn't even recognize the grandma. So we won that case for the judge doing that, not relying on grandmas or Tunkashila or, the family. So that case, we got to recognize these grandmas. They're the ones that came here to us. And now they're a legal body under the tribe. They should be in on this. They're the ones that did the fight, the battle. Because if that says that, if you don't want to name names, and if you accept that amendment, then what would it be, Bob, to allow these unties and the legal bodies of the tribe or legal entities? Because they do represent the family, not the judge. South Dakota
this shouldn't be
need to
a
have that.
long discussion, council. It's a simple resolution. If you want to make changes, there's a process for that. You can take it up in the committees. This is, we're doing committee work.
Did you accept
We're
that?
council.
This ain't
So
committee work, this is
we're
executive work.
gonna call for the question, Madam Secretary.
I just want
Yeah,
to
I'll
state,
shoot you
Chairman,
like
that on the 9th, whereas when they were trying to change it to, we'll strike the word act, that should be act. I looked at the drafts that was submitted, and it should be act. Evidencing an official act of the tribe, not act, so. Bryson Woods.
What was that? You struck at, is that what?
It's not act, it's not act, it's act.
If you look at the drafts that were sent with that change you wanted, to strike the word at in the 9th whereas, at, AT should be act, A-C-T.
You accept it to strike that?
Yeah, it was
Official of the
already
tribe.
amended to change it.
Official of the tribe. Go on.
Steve Moran,
Yes.
Ted Knight Jr.,
Yes.
John Kessler,
Yes.
Ken Wright Dupriez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller,
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell,
Yes.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett.
Yes.
Francine Hall,
Yes.
Joe Brinksplenny, Bob Walters, Ronald Russo, absent Tuffy Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
$14 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 1 absent, motion carries. Council, we have another executive resolution, number E-156, 2023 CR, whereas starting from the third whereas, Council Representatives Kelsey K. Haskell is requesting to travel to the Emerging Leaders Seminar meeting in Scottsdale, Arizona, starting from August 27, 2023 through August 31st, 2023. Now therefore be resolved that the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Council approves for Council Representative Kelsey K. Haskell to travel to Scottsdale, Arizona to attend the Emerging Leaders Seminar meeting starting August 27th, 2023 through August 31st, 2023. Be find the result of the disclaimer. Motion
Second.
approved by Mr. Walters, second by Ms. Lee. Comments or questions, Madam Secretary?
Bryson Woods,
Uh-huh.
Steve Moran,
Yes.
Ted Knight Jr.,
Yes.
John Kessler,
Yes.
Ken Wright Dupriez, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller,
Yes.
Kelsey Haskell,
Abstain.
Thad Rose.
Yes.
Derek Bartlett,
Yes.
Francine Hall,
Yes.
Joe Brinksplenny, Bob Walters, Ronald Russo, absent Tuffy Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you.
$13 yes, 0 no, 1 abstain, 1 absent, motion carries. I believe that's it. Executive Resolution E-174, 2023 CR. Third, whereas the bipartisan infrastructure law, Public Law 11758, passed by the United States Congress, included Section 40101D, preventing outages and enhancing the resilience of the electric grid formula grants to states and Indian tribes, and whereas funding is available for a total of 5 years, and the allocation available for the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe is $197,152 in year 1 and $184,954 in the year 2. And whereas CRST is committed to ensuring health and welfare for its people by ensuring access to reliable electricity and a resilient electrical grid, especially for critical facilities in remote areas, now therefore be it resolved that the CRST Tribal Council resolved to submit a grant application to the U.S. Department of Energy to apply for allocated funding under the bipartisan infrastructure law, Public Law 11758, Section 4010-1D, preventing outages and enhancing the resilience of the electric grid formula grants to states and Indian tribes, and be it further resolved that as a part of this grant application, Chairman Ryman LeBeau shall confirm Mark Benoist as the point of contact for this grant. Be it finally resolved, the disclaimer. Motion to approve by Mr. Walters, second by Mrs. Hall. Comments or questions, Mr. Underwoods? Go ahead.
Chairman, we got the Water, Energy, Environment Committee on, so this is a good stuff, and I don't know, because we want to get that utility code going, energy code. So maybe Mark could work with the WE committee on this.
You sure?
Identify where these monies should go once they come in.
Sure.
Wow, sure. Make a motion to that, refer, or later,
When it comes up, we can,
just call them to.
yeah, just call in the meeting. Yep, I think that works.
Phenomenal.
Got a motion, a second. Any other comments, council members? Madam Secretary?
Bryce Underwoods, Steve Moran,
Yes. Yes.
John Pepper,
Yes.
Henry Dupree, Sharon Lee,
Yes.
Mary Miller,
Yes.
Councilman Haskell,
Yes.
Guy Rose,
Yes.
Terry Bartlett,
Yes.
Francine Hall,
Yes.
Bill Brinsberg, Bob Walters, Ronald Russo, absent Tony Hawk.
Yes.
$14 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 1 absent, motion carries. I think that's it for executive resolutions. Council, do we need a break?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, yes, sir.
One statement I want to make.
Go ahead.
Before anything. This past weekend was a really good weekend. Mr. Walters, Vice Chair Walters spoke of it. You see a lot of thanks from the kids. The carnival was good. I know there's a lot of people that worked really hard, and most thankful that we came through with without people getting injured or anything serious. A lot of people were happy events, but I just wanted to commend my individual that really worked hard since January, and he's really gotten a lot of flack for it, and a lot of people aren't really recognizing him, but it's Representative Bartlett. He really worked his tail off, and he really caught a lot of hell over this. But he caught a lot of heck over this. But I just want to recognize that and just be honest about it, because there wasn't a lot of support. There's a lot of fighting going back and forth, but all in the end, we had a bunch of smiling children, which I was pretty happy about. That's what matters the most. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, and I agree with you, and I appreciate everyone that worked on this and made it a success. And Mr. Bartlett, Mr. Treasurer, and everyone, all the staff, everyone that made it happen. I think has been great. Fair Board, all of you, everyone had a part, and appreciate all of the work. And I think Mr. Bartlett did a good job in all this, and it's tough sometimes working together and in this circle, in this room. So as we all have our points of view and we're all elected officials, but we got through it okay, and I got good feedback, and I appreciate all of you. We got this text message from one of the teachers at the school. Some of you probably got that, and that they have a picture. Mrs. Duchino sent me this. There's a picture of the kids, third graders, and it says, "Thank you for the awesome carnival." They got a picture of all the third graders and the tribal flag in the background. So that's pretty cool. Council, let's take a 1 hour break for lunch. Come back by 1:30. Thank you.
Sure.
Council Representative Bartlett, good job. Director, Mr. Chairman, all the other council reps who took part in the fair, good job.
Yeah, good job, guys.